Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Freaking beautiful little afternoon we got going on here. Woke up with a sore throat, isn't that great? Stopped by Walgreens, grabbed myself a couple lozenges. Get soothed. Grab yourself a refreshment here. Get your posture cranked up. Fucking show, huh? Damn it. I have to bleep the F word. Alright. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, thank you very much. Gloria Tells getting us started here today. The episode 106, sponsored by patreon.com/Redhawk Academy. Always stuff going up there. We're here with my boy Marcus. He was on probably, 5 months ago? And we were talking about, he was up and coming, and we were talking about how just we truly believe you're going to be in the UFC soon. And you have a style that are going to make a couple bonuses. And just like that, we're here, and you're 2 finishes later and 2 bonuses later.
I know, it's crazy, right? Who would have thought?
It's crazy, but it's not. It's crazy, but it's not. We truly expected it.
100%.
So finally, you're starting to make a little bit of bread. Does it feel? Is it just more like at peace? Is it not as stressful? Just actually having a little bit of bread to do some shit with?
Yeah, it's definitely nice to be able to take care of the things I need to take care of and set some. How about that? Is that good right there?
That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's good. It's good to be able to take care of some things and to be handling some business and starting some business and doing a couple things. So it's nice. But honestly, you know how it is. The first contract, you still don't really get a whole lot of bread. And even those $50,000 bonuses, after taxes and managers and all the extra stuff, paying back this and that and the third, it's not that yet, so.
And then the taxes come knocking, and it's like,
knock. Let us get our percentage real quick, too. It's like percentage is gone. So it's good, though. It's good to be able to, it's a good, bad thing to have, I guess,
Yeah. But you're just like, you're a dad now, so it's not like you're a single dude who's just going to go get a bunch of blow and hookers and just have some hell of a nights.
Are you sure? No, I'm sure. Don't tell my wife, no. But yeah, no, I'm not doing anything like that. Everything I'm doing is mostly house, vehicles, kids, That's pretty much what it boils down to. And now you got some projects going outside of fighting, which it's starting to take off pretty good. Your cooking show and your YouTube channel. And your podcast, right? Yep. Punches and Pints, and then Munchies with Marcus. So those have been fun too. But as you know, those are cost as well, time and money. So, but they've been a lot of fun. They've been taking off. People have been pretty receptive to them. So, and I've been having a lot of fun doing them too.
It is fun doing them, and you're good at it. You're good at it, and it'll end up taking off here soon. Because what's your YouTube called again for people?
Punches and Pints for the podcast, but then Munchies with Marcus they're 2 separate ones for the cooking show.
And do you have some buddies helping you with the creativity, or are you kind of just thinking about what you want to cook, or is it just kind of a team?
Yeah, so I'm basically just doing the cooking. I come up with the different dishes, and then I do the cooking and all the stuff behind as far as my own antics, and then he's just videotaping it, clipping it together well. So I'm kind of a goofy character. You know me for a long time, so I kind of just go in, and then he has a really good way. His name's Ryan Clyde. He has a really good way of just putting all my little antics together and making it look good. So
hell yeah, that's perfect. Jared, our boy Jared Cannonier, he's in Australia, and I mean, rumor has it that Strickland was uppercutting some guy in the gut, could get in trouble. Jared's there. Man, Jared's such a beast because so you probably make $50,000 being up the backup fighter, and he traveled all the way to Australia, did pretty much a full fight camp, doing a full weight cut just to be ready to step in there if possible. But I wonder what the chances are now.
Yeah, honestly, I was looking that up this morning just because I know Randy and Coach were going to be heading over that way. And I was looking at Dana. Dana said that there's not an issue at all, so he's definitely still in the fight. They said it was a joke and all that stuff. Who knows if that's what it was, or if it wasn't just like behind the scenes, like, hey man, shut up, let's make this work still. But as far as I heard, Jared's not jumping in still right now. I think Strickland's still on.
Okay.
So,
okay, good to know.
But it is kind of beastly that he did that, right? I mean, that takes a whole different type of man to do that.
What?
So, to go all the way to Australia, make weight, be there, be ready to take a five 5-minute round fight against the best guy in the world, you know.
And I bet Izzy's like, dude, I already got through Jared. Like, just let me fight fucking Strickland. Jared just seems like a whole different animal.
Yeah.
But I mean, Adesanya versus Strickland. How can Sean Strickland win? I mean, he stands there flat foot. He stands there really tall. It'd be different if he was really good at changing levels, mixing his takedowns up, like punching, changing levels, good at cutting off the cage. But it's a big cage.
Yeah.
It's a big cage, and to put Izzy on the fence, to cut him off, to get into a clean takedown, it's like Izzy's a king of range. And people don't understand, like even with Aljo and Sean, they're like, why didn't he wrestle him? It's like, bro, he was 4 feet away from him, and Sugar's juking side to side. He has no idea. And just like even Aljo tweeted, someone said, why didn't you wrestle? He said, the game plan was to take him down, just like my game plan for everyone. Not sure if you watched the juke moves that man was hitting. Tough to grab someone properly who doesn't stand right in front of you. Next time I just kick his legs till he's first to push forward. All good. That's the thing. It's like, he said it himself. A lot of times Sean's doing feints that you can't see on the TV. They're just so subtle, and sometimes they're with his eyes, his hips, sometimes with his shoulders a little bit. They're so subtle that it does freeze people up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But he said, next time I'm just going to kick his legs till he's first to push forward. I mean, I know they think that could have been the game plan, that they could have go tit for tat with him for 25 minutes and win. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's a great plan either.
I agree with you. I don't think that's the greatest plan either. You know, I maybe add that into the game plan, but no, I don't think that's the greatest game plan. And again, trying to kick somebody's legs who's moving that's still just as hard, right? It's like when you have a stationary target who's just pressing you and just walking you down, yeah, maybe you can kick his legs, maybe you could try to take him down, but when this guy's hitting lateral jukes and back and forth and feinting and freezing you, it's a different game. It's easy for people to say it on the outside, right? Oh yeah, why didn't you just rush in? Yeah, that's how you get hurt too. You rush in and catch an uppercut, rush in, catch a knee.
He tried to rush in.
Yeah, it's like that didn't work either. You know, it doesn't work. The best and the easiest takedowns that anybody gets is when they feint their way in, get somebody biting, and then get to the takedown. You know.
Yeah.
And that would have been his best option. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the focus was just keep the footwork, be on the balls of your feet, be just hard and tricky, and just boom, 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 side to side. Do not stand there. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it worked out good. But for Sean Strickland, Izzy's coming back after beating Pereira, knocking him out. To do that, I mean, he's so scary and dangerous right now, long and fast and confident. And that's another one. It's like, oh yeah, but Sean Strickland is really good on the ground. He's a good wrestler. He's good on the ground. But it's like, is he good enough in a huge cage to cut Izzy off, get Izzy's feet solid in the mud, and take him down? I don't know if he is. I don't think he is.
And then keep him there, right? And keep him there round after round, or even submit him or finish him. Like nobody else has done it. Like, what's different? It's like, it's almost like they're like, oh, that's the trick. You get him on the ground, you finish the fight. Yeah. Who else has done that, though?
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
He's gotten taken down multiple times by other guys, you know. Not a lot of guys, but he has gotten taken down by other guys. And what is it, Jan Blachowicz? I always say that wrong.
Blachowicz, yep.
I mean, he beat him by you know, grinding him out, but he didn't submit him. He wasn't even close to submitting him at any point. He just grinded it out, held position, you know. So it's like, I don't know. I think they're counting Izzy out in that department too, and working with Craig Jones as well. It's like,
and think of how good Robert Whitaker is. Think of how good Marvin Vettori is. And I'm pretty sure he fought Marvin Vettori in the small cage, right? In the small cage. And Marvin Vettori is a strong, beastly wrestler. Jared, obviously, and then Paulo Costa, and then Yoel Romero, and then Robert Whitaker again, and then Calvin Gastelum. It's like, and then Derek Brunson, Anderson Silva, Brad Tavares. It's like, fuck.
That's a pretty awesome resume. You know, you look at his resume and you have to be impressed by it. You know.
Yeah. So it's like, in fighting, it's like, it's hard to say, man, it's not going to happen. It's possible, but I think the percentage is very low. A miracle is going to have to happen for Sean Strickland. Mm-hmm. I think Adesanya's confidence is too high right now. They're in his hometown. It's in the big cage. I just don't see a way for Sean Strickland to get it done.
Yeah.
And they said in the embed and stuff, we're going to try to make it dirty. We're going to try to make it dirty. It's like, well, big ass cage like that, someone king of range, good luck on making it dirty.
Yeah.
Without having to wear a couple shots. If you can wear a couple shots, get cracked 3-4 times, maybe you'll be able to get in there. Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. Someone as accurate as Adesanya, it's hard to just wear 3 or 4 punches when they're square on your fucking chin. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep, and then also he moves so well that I think honestly it's crazy for me to say this, and I think Strickland's best chance is to catch him and try to wear him down and hurt him, on the feet. I really do, that's what I think, but I don't think that that's going to happen because Israel is always moving. He's never just taking shots. He's never just sitting there taking shots. Similar to Suge, he's never going to sit there and just take shots. But it's like one of those similarities to like Chris Weidman and Anderson Silva, right? Like no one thought that Chris Weidman was going to land anything on the feet. Like that wasn't even a thought process. It was take him down, grind him out, beat him up. Anderson Silva does a couple antics, gets caught with that check hook, fight's over, right? Yep. It's like that's the only thing I can see like possibly happen. That's the only way I see Strickland getting it. But to be honest, that's like, I don't know, 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then people don't take in consideration too, people who don't fight or have never fought, like how healthy are they? Who's dealing with what? Someone could be dealing with something that's really bad, like fuck, I got to get through this fight. So you never know how that's going also.
100%. And that's definitely a part of everybody's camp. I don't think anybody ever goes into these fights 100. But who's at 90? Who's at 80? Who's at 35?
Yeah. And then, especially for the 5-round fights. They're so grueling to get ready for. But then you got those people like Izzy. In those big, big pressure moments, he shows up.
Yeah.
He's going to fucking show up.
And shine. And shine, too. And, I mean, that's one of the things we're going to find about Strickland, too. How is he going to shine in this moment? Because it's going to be a big moment, and he has had great moments as well, but it's going to be a really big moment in Sydney. And Adesanya is going to be happy to be there. Mm-hmm. Is Strickland going to be happy to be there?
Yeah, in the hometown arena for Izzy, I think Strickland's last couple fights, were they in the Apex, where it's quiet, where it's a lot like sparring, where Sean Strickland's really comfortable sparring, obviously. He wants to spar everyone, loves to talk, you can hear him. But in this roaring fucking crowd, I'm excited for it. I really am.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be a good fight, but I think Izzy's coming in with a chip on his shoulder, too. I think Izzy's going to put him away, Mm-hmm. I think he's durable, but, again, Alex Pereira showed it, like, accuracy, right? Mm-hmm. If you're accurate and you distance timing like Adesanya has, you can put Strickland away, And so I think that's what's going to happen. If I had to call it, I'd say, like, second, third round.
Yeah, just the speed difference, the accuracy difference, and the way Strickland like just really swats at his punches a little bit, and it's hard to fix that in a couple weeks, being able to just swatting.
Yeah. And he usually can do that against shorter guys too. It's gonna be harder for him to do those, like his jab antics that he does. Mm-hmm. I think that's gonna be harder to play against a guy like Adesanya, who's longer than you, who's a little bit better than you at that game as well. Like, I think that's going to be a hard boxing style to play against him. And, again, getting head kicked. He's going to have to really watch out for getting head kicked in this one.
Yeah.
Because he a lot of times he does that Philly shell and he'll lean off and
boom. Yes. Dude, for sure. Especially even if you have your glove blocking, it's like that power goes right through that glove. But, yeah, I appreciate you freaking starting it off. I know Aljo was training with JP Buys a lot for the fight camp, and then you just went and beat the fuck out of JP Buys. So we're like, hell yeah. So that was beautiful.
I was happy to do that too because I had seen that too. I was like, okay, so this is like team versus team, Yeah. And honestly, JP seemed like a great guy, so I was like, oh man, it's gonna be like, like he seems like a good guy, but I'm gonna come and I'm gonna put it on this guy, and he looked tough, And again, I know he has really good attributes, and I'm really good too, So it was like just step in there and be free about it. But it was nice to start it off like that too,
Yeah, got us pumped up. Well, one thing too is like with you haven't been in the UFC long. You haven't been in like these big shows long, but your composure and your pacing is just so good. You're really calm in there. You're super in the moment compared to other people. Like, I'm finally in the UFC. I'm about to make a lot of money. Dana's sitting right there. This guy's a UFC fighter, and they're tense, and their shoulders are tense, and then they gas out, and they start swinging too hard, but you're in there nice and loose and composed. You look just right at home.
Mm-hmm. I feel that way. I do feel that way because all those things are happening, and I don't know if they're in my head the same way. But, yeah, I guess I just don't think about all those things. Another thing is I'm happy to be there, so I'm not too overly concerned with outcomes. Like, obviously, we want to win. We want to make sure we get that double paycheck, triple paycheck if we can. But I'm just not focused on that. I'm focused on the moment, me and this guy go in the battle for 15 minutes and what I need to do in this moment, period, you know? And I really feel like it gives me the ability just to be calm in there. Like, it's going to be 15, 17 minutes, however long it's going to be. Do the best I can in here, and I'll focus on all the Dana Whites and everything else after the fact, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And just the confidence we get for the partners we're training with here. I mean, the partners we're training with, it's the mecca for bantamweights. The lab has the best bantamweight division, like easily out of anyone. Striking wise, grappling wise, I mean, wrestling wise. So that confidence alone is money.
I agree. And mostly like I was looking at your last pod with Joe Riggs about being nervous before you get in these sparring rounds. Literally every single day I go to practice, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's, you know, striking, whether it's sparring, I'm nervous. I'm nervous every day. Start wrestling practice, I'm nervous every day. I go into practice nervous every day. So going into the fight, it's kind of hard to go in there more nervous, you know, like I've been doing this, I've been doing it against high level guys and nothing changes. I'm doing that against another high level guy and it's just me and him today, you know, nobody else in the mix, you know.
Yeah, we don't got fresh guys coming in on you. I got to break this guy down.
And that's how I think about it too. So it's like, and that's why it's a healthy nervousness. It's not like an overwhelming nervousness. It's just like your body's prepping yourself and letting you know, hey, it's going to be hard, you know.
Yeah.
Every day is going to be hard and it's good that it's hard, you know. And if it's easier, great, but
that's what I think some people think, like, to have no nerves. I'm like, you got to have some nerves. You got to prepare your body. Like, if you have no nerves, there might be something wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Labor Day weekend, it was a good time. Glad to be back. Let loose a little bit. Got a good little break. Now we're back. Got to get a good lift yesterday. Train with my students yesterday. It was good. What'd you do Labor Day?
So I didn't do anything too crazy. You know, hung out with the family, made some burgers for the family. Trained, obviously. Did strength training in the morning, and then striking with at the lab after that. And then for Labor Day, and then same thing throughout the weekend. Pretty much skateboarded and worked out and trained all through the weekend. Nothing too crazy.
When you're going to the skate park nowadays, are you just trying to do your best to just cruise and having a good time, or are you pushing the limits?
No, I'm not pushing the limits. I'm just cruising. Yeah, I'm just cruising, doing things that I'm just trying to get back to being as comfortable with all the easy things that I know I did. And sometimes those are like complicated things for other people, but for me, it's like a lot of the stuff I do now is all my warm up. You know, show up to the park, mess around,
do 60 flips. Like, you're fucking good, bro. That's why I'm like, I go to the skate park, cruise a little bit, but it's like I always just something in me gets like pushing the limits. Like, I can kickflip that. I can no slide that. It's like I can't just fucking cruise.
Yeah.
Plus, I have a fat fucking body, so when this body comes down, it goes down hard.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about learning how to fall too, because that's one of the things I've been focusing back on. It's learning how to fall, because I do a lot of that stuff too. But that's like again, a lot of that stuff, because I used to do a lot of like tricks into stuff too. Kickflip back 5-0, kickflip back tails, kickflip nose boards. You know, a bunch of different tricks I used to bust out, and then like in transition as well. Like I used to do a lot of airs too. Backside melons, frontside indies, you know, stalefish, you know, a bunch of different stuff. So now it's like, even like just grinds, you know, just telling myself like, okay, let's just stick to the basics. 50-50s, 5-0s, feebles, you know, things that are cool but not too crazy. Because again, it doesn't take much to slip out and
now you fucked your ankle up. Now you're out for 10 days. Like, fuck.
Yep. And then it's like with training is the hardest. Even if I slip out and like the board, if I do a tray flip and miss and it hits me in the shin, now I can't get kicked in the shin for like a whole week, you know? So it's like, I really got to watch out for that. But I haven't had any issues with that, thank goodness. You know, I just been focusing on, and now I got that mini ramp too.
You bought one?
Yeah. So my buddy, I wish I'd say I bought it, but my buddy ended up letting me borrow his. So he doesn't have a place to put it right now.
How, 3.5 feet?
Yeah, about 4 feet tall, 4 foot tall, 8 or 9 feet wide, 21 foot long. So
it's in your yard?
It's in my I have like a trailer side right there, like a double side trailer for like to put a trailer in. So I just have it sitting there.
Damn, I want to come hit that ramp.
100%. I'm gonna be getting a little sesh going here soon. Also on the 30th of September, I have a skateboard crawl. We're gonna hit 3 different parks and do like a competition for locals that want to come in and compete, and do like a board raffle and everything too.
So if people follow your Instagram, it'll be on there, the skateboard, because you probably have some good amount of people show up.
Yeah, it's gonna be sick too. Yeah, we'll have a couple of the pros. I think there's a couple of pro skaters that are gonna come by too. And then,
what's your Insta right now?
Maniac _ McGhee MMA.
Yeah, check it out. Show up to the skateboard crawl. I got this room 2 going. It's looking sweet. I got new lights in this room 2. I got a new front desk. I'm making it like a coffee shop type vibe. I've wanted a coffee shop for years and years and years. I'm like, I would love to have that where someone can come, they can read books, they can relax, they can have a good espresso. And I was gonna invest in like a whole front desk coffee thing, but I'm like, that's a lot, and I have to reconstruct the whole building. But then this guy named Adam Holyfield, he came and helped me. He's like a black belt in coffee, and he was talking about these new coffee carts. They're pretty a new thing. It's just a little cart, but it comes with a sink, it comes with the water, then you can add the espresso machines, and you can just make, you could bring it to farmers markets if you want. It has everything you need. So I'm working on getting that, and then I'm gonna have at this new place right after people are done training, you can go there and get like a nice iced amino acid or some magnesium from Thorne, suck it down. I think it's going to do really good. And I ordered some new Fuji mats, so the new room 2 is going to be really sweet. I'm excited to do it, but there's still a lot.
Okay, that's going to be here? Is that going to be
one door over?
Okay, sweet.
One door over. I'll show you it after this. Yeah, it's turning out nice. But then hopefully I can start learning, get the good gist of coffee and serving it to people and train some guys to do it, and then maybe make a real coffee shop one day, or even a coffee truck, possibly. Get some good espresso going.
That's some good business plans there, man.
Yeah, and it's been fun, and I'm enjoying it. So, okay, Paige Vanzant, 1 day of OnlyFans revenue beat all fight paydays combined.
I wonder if that's for males as well, because let's just put it, Paige Vanzant is smoking hot, right?
And she's getting thick, which I like that.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are liking that. So it's like that is appealing too. And I mean, if you look at any of the, and again, not to put it against female, male, but I think it is a little bit like males are way more inclined to go check out females and pay for their OnlyFans pretty quickly just to get a glimpse of, some cheeks,
Yeah, for a male, it would have to be probably for a lot of gays.
Yeah. or maybe like you just have great content, right? Like they're just loving you for the content, like
males or the guys, or
for males, like for other guys to be paying for your OnlyFans, like for a guy's OnlyFans.
Yeah,
you just have to have great content because they don't care about coming in, and even females, they don't care about coming in and seeing you with your shirt off or ripped up or maybe halfway naked. They don't really care about that. Guys are like, what? I get to see a nip.
Yeah, exactly. And I think she just pretty much teases those big old tits and making some good bread, which is crazy. So it's like, God, it's like, what would you say if your daughter's like, Dad, I want to do OnlyFans, and she's 18, 19, 20 years old? What would you say? What would you?
Honestly, I would definitely tell her I wouldn't like it and I wouldn't want her to do it. And there's other ways to go about doing things. And then she has to think about the future and how she wants to be perceived and all these different things. If she does have kids, because I don't think Paige has kids, right? Either. No. So that's one thing that she doesn't necessarily have to worry about right now either, right? She doesn't have to worry about like kids seeing her later on, or family member or her kids being in school later on, like, hey, I've seen your mom's tits and all that stuff. Because all that comes in play later on. So I would obviously tell her I wouldn't want her to do it because that'd just be the father in me. But at the same time, I'm a supportive father. Whatever they decide that they're going to do with their lives, I'm going to give them the best game I can about it. But then I'm going to let them make their own decisions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's the way to go.
I'll tell you what, she can't do it and live with me, though.
Yeah, like, fuck.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, wait till you're done living with me, and then you can, you go crazy.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise here. Contender Series hopeful hastily removed from Dana White's show after test reveals she's 3 months pregnant. Well, at least they do those tests.
That's crazy. I wonder if she knew.
I don't think she... hopefully not. Yeah. She goes and gets a need in the fucking gut.
It'd be over. Yeah, pretty quickly. That's nuts.
Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson wins gold at IBJJF Masters World. I mean, it is impressive. But it is at brown belt. I mean, black belt's a whole different story. Even Masters 1, Masters 2, Masters 3 at black belt is hard to win because these guys are good at jiu-jitsu. Brown belt's still hard to win. Still hard to win in the gi, but he's been an athlete his whole life. He's trains professionally. A lot of the brown belts at Masters, they're not just training. They have a full-time job. They train on the side a little bit. So it's not surprising that he won, but still cool for him stepping up in the gi
and putting himself out there, right? That's like a vulnerable spot because if he got third, people would have been like, "Oh my God, how did he get third?"
Yeah, for sure.
That's the only thing I think about when I see that for most.
And that's the cool thing about jiu-jitsu anyway. Like, even if he would have lost, big deal. Who cares? He's still stepping up and going in. Jiu-jitsu and the gi is a completely different sport. It really is. So, sweet for Demetrius Johnson. Cody Garbrandt almost brawls with a fighter on the Russian podcast. I saw him get into that scrap. I didn't know what was said, that he got up and started to get into a scuffle.
I didn't even see it. I didn't hear anything about it.
Paul Felder enters the USADA pool again.
No way, huh? I really didn't think he was going to do it. I know I've been hearing about him coming. I've been seeing a bunch of people post things. Like, I think they tried to say him and who's that other kid that's at 100, dude that's at 170 pounds that's like undefeated. No, Rome.
Yeah, Shavkat.
Yeah, they were saying him and Paul Felder. I'm like, what?
Hell no.
Is a return fight? Come on, you guys aren't trying to do any favors for Paul Felder over here. Like, geez, just feeding them to the wolves right away. Not to say that he's not a wolf himself, but that kid is on a run right now.
I mean, that dude's 6'1", 6'2", 170 pounds. Probably walks around at 200 pounds. Yeah, that's not the match to come back with.
Great striking, great grappling. You know, nuts.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Dillon Danis pulls over 2 billion views on Twitter.
I don't know why people watch Dillon Danis, dude. Like, I don't get it. Honestly, I guess I've never been around to see where he came from or anything like that. And I'm not even hating on the guy. I just don't understand, like, why everyone's so stuck on him, you know?
Yeah. I wonder what would have happened if he didn't even, like, he never even trained with Conor. I wonder if it would just, like, if anything would happen. Probably not. But he just says the most absurd shit, so people like to see that, I think. 2 billion views, though. And he's, like, blown up way more now that Logan Paul gave him all this, like, opportunity.
Yeah. It blows me away. Because even training with Conor, you know, I don't know. I can't imagine, like, just training with Conor, getting him that much publicity. It's like, there's got to be some star power he's bringing to it. But, I've never seen it. So I'm like, man, it blows me away how invested everybody is in him. And he hasn't really even competed, really, like, in a long time. You know, he hasn't really
I mean, I don't know if I think he has competed once in MMA, maybe twice. You watch his MMA fight, though, it's like he looks very scared. Very scared, like looking to want to pull guard, not wanting anything to do with it on the feet. And now he's got to fight Logan Paul, who's 6'2", 205 lean pounds, been boxing for a long time, athletic. And you see Dillon Danis hitting the mitts, you see him sparring, it's like, bro.
He's in trouble.
I think he has zero chance.
I agree with you.
That's why I do not think he'll show up. He knows he got so many followers. Like, I think his following went up by like 800,000 people.
So how do you think that affects? If he doesn't show up, do you think all those people still follow him though?
Probably. He's so crazy. He's so retarded that it's fun to watch.
Oh, that's so crazy, man. That's crazy.
I know. Luke Rockhold wants Jake Paul next and will put his entire paycheck on the line. Damn, Luke Rockhold's really just... And then Jake Paul pieces him up. Jake Paul probably doesn't want to fight him. Mike Perry cracked him one shot and he stopped.
Yeah.
I'd still like to see the fight. Luke Rockhold is still a huge athletic animal.
That's why I'd like to see it, because that'd be the biggest guy he's fought, really, right? That'd be the biggest guy that Jake has fought. Jake's only fought like smaller guys that came up to his weight.
Yeah, and then Anderson, who's a little bit older. What would Luke Rockhold bring that Anderson Silva couldn't bring? Maybe a little bit of youth.
Yeah, a little bit more youth, a little bit more range, and he does have that pop too. You know, I think that he has those. That's the only thing I would think he'd bring those against Jake Paul. Nothing too crazy. It's not like he's known for just sparking guys either. But I would like to see that fight just to see how Jake Paul deals with the range and a guy who's as big as him, you know. Because I'm sure Luke Rockhold walks around like 215, 220 probably, you know.
Yeah, big dude. Jorge Masvidal says Justin Gaethje should defend his BMF title against me. That's a sick fight. That's a sick fucking fight, dude. Those two guys will beat the fuck out of each other.
But is that at 170 or is that at 155?
It'd have to be at 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how does Justin Gaethje look at 170? You know, never seen him there. You know.
Yeah, because seeing him he probably walks around. It looks like 180. So would he have little tits? Who knows? Probably not though. He's just a thick fucking dude. That's a sick fight. That would be pimp to watch.
Yeah. Who do you think would get that one though?
Damn, 5 rounds. I don't know.
If it was 5, if it's 5, I have to go with Gaethje. I just think Gaethje's just.
He might just whack his legs off.
Yeah, I think Gaethje. If it's 5 rounds, I just think that Gaethje's gonna be like. Don't get me wrong, Jorge Masvidal's a dog as well. Like you can't ever say he's not. But man, I just see Gaethje being that kind of like he's just willing to go further. You know, like Masvidal is a dog and wants to go out there and hurt guys. You know, but Gaethje kind of wants to get hurt.
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck.
100%. He's like, what? I want to see how much damage I can take and keep going. You know,
it's just psycho. During an interview with Brendan Schwab's Food Truck Diaries, Chito shared his take on where Sterling went wrong, both inside the cage and the build-up of the fight. He says, I think Sterling's mind wasn't ready for the pressure of the lights. For the magnitude of the event, I believe Aljamain fucked up. He beat Cejudo in Brooklyn. He should be. Fuck you. I'm fighting in December. You want to strip me. And he kind of went like, oh, I want to make $1 million or maybe over. I'm just going to do it. Continuing, Marlon claims there was no reason Aljamain should have been pushed by the UFC. It's not just about the money. It's about also legacy. He already got the money. He already got a couple houses. He's very successful. Don't fucking whore yourself out for a couple thousand.
Yeah, but at the same time, you look at a guy like Izzy, you know? Like Izzy is, like, as a champion, like, that's the model, right? And Izzy's fighting 4 times a year, not twice, right? Like, like I can see where he's going there, but why be that guy? Why be the guy that's stalling out the division, waiting constantly, just waiting on your time constantly, or be the guy that's showing up and clearing out your division? Like I had a lot of respect for Aljamain taking it and doing it like he did it, and if he would have won, everybody would have thought he was great. But because he lost, now it's like question him on it. It's like no, be an active champion. You know, that's the plan. It's not to get the belt and then retain the belt because you're fighting once or twice a year.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's up to the UFC. Like for Sean, it's like we want to defend that thing soon. Like but if the UFC wants us to wait, blah blah blah, we'll do it. But at the end of the day, it's really up to the UFC. But just like you said, I mean, Israel, he books them nonstop, three a year sometimes. It's like what a savage.
Yeah, he's getting after it. I was looking at in the last 5 years, he's had like 17 fights, something like that, you know?
And that's why he's just like the biggest star in the UFC. His Instagram following, all this stuff. Because when you're a main event of a pay-per-view, there's so many different eyes on you that wouldn't be there before. And him doing how many of those? Like, no wonder he's just the biggest star in the UFC.
Yeah. You have to think, too, his body, how is he not, is he dealing with injuries? And how is he so good at dealing with injuries and stepping into these fights like that? Because you get some guys that are like, bro, I tweaked my toe.
Yep.
You know, it's over. I got to pull out. I can't do it. And it's like, he goes hard. You see his cage or his gym wars and stuff like.
Bro, he trains with beasts. Yeah, so I'm curious how much their training camps have changed once you keep defending. Do you keep that same grind up? Yeah, I don't know. Marlon Vera, though, versus Suge. I mean, you saw Chito versus Pedro. Did you grab some snacks? Did you fall asleep? Did you watch it?
I wasn't too interested in it, to be honest. Like I thought it was going to be a little bit more action on both sides, though. You know, on Chito's side and on Pedro's side as well. So that's what I thought. I thought it would be a little bit more action, but again, the moment, you know, and each fight calls for different things. But no, it wasn't as exciting as any of the other fights on the card. Absolutely not. You know, I think everybody would concur with that for sure.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Pedro is so small, dude. He's so small, so it's really hard for him to do anything. But I didn't really watch the fight. I watched a couple minutes of it. I'll probably rewatch it again if the Chito fight gets booked. But I'm surprised Pedro didn't try to take him down after he saw how Corey Sandhagen made Chito look on the ground.
Yeah, and I think Chito was a little bit more prepared for that groundwork. And I think Chito felt, I don't know, he was like rooted in. So I think Pedro was having a hard time getting into that range to try to take Chito down. And then Chito wasn't being so active either. I think that's kind of what calmed Chito down and why he wasn't active, is because he didn't want to open himself up for getting those takedowns, you know. So he's a little bit more reserved, because I do think that was Pedro's best bet, was to mix it up, you know, like this is MMA. throw some shots in there, but then also take him down, get him on the ground, pound him out a little bit. And then maybe you can start finding your shots up top. Because, yeah, like Pedro's just a smaller guy and has a hard time covering that range, you know?
Mm-hmm. Did you see all the Burning Man stuff? I guess Burning Man flooded. Burning Man's crazy. I didn't even know how crazy it was till I was watching some YouTubes about it. It's just this huge, crazy festival. And that puppy flooded, so people were stuck in there. It's probably a good time.
Yeah, I did see that actually. It was just tripping me out how all that happened. So my wife went up to Vegas this weekend as well for her sister's bachelorette party, bachelorette party up in Vegas. Yeah, no worries.
Good, Jay. Sorry about that.
No worries. So I did see that flooding and everything. She was talking about how flooded like the city was too. Like the parking garages in Vegas were all flooded and everything, which I didn't know that they did that. So that was a surprise to me. But yeah, it's crazy how that all happened, right? Like Burning Man's supposed to be this huge festival, pride, like bunch of different things going on, and gets flooded out. I mean, everything's mud. You know, people couldn't even leave. They said people couldn't leave for like days. It
was weird because we were in Vegas and the streets, I don't know if they have a drainage system or what, but it rained and the streets were literally flooded. So
that's where Suge caught Marab. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I did see that he caught, and it was raining pretty hard too. I was surprised. I was like, man, is it? Honestly, it almost looked like he was like had somebody like sprinkling water just over himself. You know, that's funny though.
There's a sex plane at Burning Man that makes you show up at 5 a.m. to wait your turn to join the Mile High Club. I mean, joining the Mile High Club, it's like, I don't know if that'd be that cool.
Yeah. I feel like it's only cool if you do it the right way, like on a real plane with passengers on the plane.
With that rush.
Yeah, like that's the only way. If it's just, hey, we're getting on this plane and we're going to bang it out on the plane, like, it's just not the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's about it for the news. There's some other stuff, kind of dumb stuff. CM Punk got fired, got in a fight backstage, blah, blah, blah. Fact or fiction, Ronda Rousey's ex-boyfriend claims Rowdy offered more money than God for UFC return. She's one of those stars where they were selling over millions of pay-per-views. Anymore, the pay-per-view numbers, it's like, is the pay-per-view a dying thing? Because how easy is it to stream it?
Yeah, pretty easy. Yeah.
Every single, like, especially my gamer friends, they all stream it. Mm-hmm. It's like they don't have the bread. So when numbers come out and it's 350,000, and then I guess in other countries, it's like $1 to buy the pay-per-view.
Yeah, which is like crazy. And the price keeps going up for us out here. And that makes people want to stream it more because I'm cool with paying for that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not cool with paying $79 for it, right? Like, all right, if it's $49, okay, that's a little bit more bearable, especially in this type of economy. Man, people don't have it like that. And this just seems like those pay-per-views are, and with the pay-per-views getting more expensive, it's easier and easier to find a way to pirate them, you know?
Yeah. It's like, what do you do? So what do you do? I wonder how much is going to change, but we'll go over the card real quick. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The only thing I would say is they have to find a way to stop pirating them. Like, they have to find a way to cut people off from being able to stream them.
Literally.
That's the only...
Is that possible? Who knows?
I'm not tech enough to figure that out.
Yeah, no shit. So Tuivasa versus Alexander Volkov. Man, Ty's a fucking dog, but that's a tough one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a 50-50 one for me too. I just feel like it's going to be that length versus whether or not Ty can cover the distance. And one thing he does is cover distance good. Volk is tall. If he comes over the top, oh, man.
Yeah, left hook or right hook.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get in close enough to reach that dude's chin?
Yeah.
Possible. Be sweet. That place will erupt if Ty Tuivasa can put him out.
Yeah.
And the whole main card is a bunch of Australians, which is sweet. Justin Tafa, another hard-hitting heavyweight.
Yep.
Tyson Pedro. Oh, the Kai Kara France one got canceled, dang it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bunch of their team on that card, which will be cool.
Yeah, that Ty one's gonna be dope too. I was looking to see. I was hoping that his other buddy, that 205er, that what's his name? I can't think of his name right now. But the 205er that he's been training with for a while, that played like rugby or something too.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping he was gonna be on the card as well.
Yeah, it'll be good. So, who do you do your podcast with?
His name's Jay. That's the one that does all the filming for it. And then, so Jay is the one that does all my like videography and editing and everything. And then J5 Media is his actual company. And then Brett Brett Anthony is the owner of Elevated Seltzer. That's where we do the podcast at. So me and him kind of met up through Kyler Phillips and just created a friendship. And we were talking. We were like, man, I'm looking to do a podcast. He was like, oh man, I've always wanted to do a podcast. Like, dude, I'd love to have you as one of the co-hosts on the podcast, and let's do this together, you know. So we kind of linked up and started doing it, and we're like on episode 12 right now or something like that. So it's been a lot of fun.
You guys been doing one every week?
No, so what we do right now is we just do a combination of trying to get as many knocked out as we can. Usually we'll knock out 3 at a time and then release them. I like to do it every week so I can be more, so we can start focusing on like current events. But with fighting and everything how it is right now, I just can't make the time to do one every week. And it's the other thing is it's way more expensive. You know, it's so much harder it's so much more expensive to get everybody to come out multiple times opposed to coming out one time and knocking them out. So that's the next focus is once we keep on going with it and it keeps on evolving and we get better about it, just our setup, our overall etiquette on how we run the show. I do want to get to the point where we're knocking them out at least every 2 weeks. That's what I like to do, drop them every 2 weeks, film every 2 weeks, drop them every 2 weeks. And
yeah, to have a good podcast, I mean, it's got to be quality in it, because if it's not quality, there's too many thousands, hundreds of thousand podcasts that are quality. So you're going to need an editor. You're going to need nice cameras. And then the hardest part is just staying consistent doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's easy. I mean, you get 10 episodes. Okay, great. No problem. But try getting 100, 150, 200 episodes and doing it every week. It's a lot harder than people think. It's definitely like a little job.
Oh, 100%. It absolutely is. Like even when we do our sessions with for the 3, like we'll get there at 8 o'clock and we won't be done till like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Then I'm shooting over to sparring. You know, it's like, it's a full-time job, you know, almost. And then even having the editor. So it's nice because the guys I use for all my social media and podcasting stuff, they're like legit guys. It costs me, you know, and I'm willing to pay because I mean the quality speaks for itself, you know.
Yeah, good ass quality, entertaining, good music, good bunch of cuts, like it's good.
Yeah, then that's why I'm like happy about it. But the opposite side of that is making the most of it when it happens, because I just realize it more and more, you know, like it is a lot of work to do the social media side of this whole thing. It's a lot of work to do the podcasting, not even just the podcasting, just doing little clips here and there to keep people engaged in between time, right? You know, figuring that all out, because it's like, it's great to have the podcast, great to have the cooking show, but then it's just like just regular stuff, regular day stuff. Oh, this is what I'm doing over here. This is what I'm doing over here. And getting quality material out to people that just want to see what you're doing outside of all these things, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a freaking lot. But I was watching this like crazy, because you can pay an editor to do a vlog and the vlog will turn out really good. Or on the new iPhones, the camera's so good. If you're decent and you have some good humor and you literally could film your day like this, film your day like this, add it together. I was watching some vlogs last night of just people doing iPhone vlogs, and they're just as entertaining.
Yeah.
Especially if you're funny. Like,
yeah. So I'm working on that right now. So, because I have a social, like my sister-in-law handles my social media, so me and her get together every week and just kind of go over whatever material we have to put out there, kind of make a schedule so for us to put it out there, so I'm not necessarily having to get on my phone constantly, like, oh man, I got to cut, do this, do that, and post all this up. So we'll just kind of get together and just kind of map everything out, and then she'll just set it for post on our page, so they post like then on their own. I don't have to, so it's not relying on me to post it. But that's what she has an iPhone too, and I ended up getting this the Galaxy S22, and it was supposed to have a great camera, but when it converts over to Instagram or converts over to YouTube, the camera sucks, you know?
Oh, fuck.
So it's like, it's great when it comes on my phone, it's like high quality, but then anytime I send it anywhere else, it's just garbage. So I am going to look at getting the new iPhone too, but she has the new iPhone, so she's going to start coming and just getting more shots, and we're just going to do regular day stuff sometimes just to start seeing, because again, it's expensive to have somebody with a great camera come out multiple times, you know?
Dude, I mean, yeah, the iPhone, because then you can airdrop full quality videos. I think when you text them iPhone to iPhone, they're almost full quality. But I got to show you what I do on this one. And this little app I have, how easy it is just to put together the videos. Boom, 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 boom. It can be done in like literally 5 minutes. And you can even do a quick thumbnail on there. And then your vlog's done. It's really easy. I got to show you.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I need to figure out like structure of vlogs too. Just like what's a good way to structure a vlog, so then it makes it easier for me to set up different times to start doing it too, and then different plans on how to do it. You know, especially like skateboarding and all the extra little stuff that I do. I just want to do little vlogs and that type of stuff.
Yeah, it's the same with this one I use. And we think it's boring because we've been doing it our whole life, having a full day of training. But to other people, it's not boring, especially if you skateboard in between and stuff. And you can record on that phone, and it's so easy on that app to do I think it's called B-roll, to where it's filming and you're just talking into what's going on. Mm-hmm. So you'd be good at that too. And it's really, really simple.
Heck yeah.
But another one that people are making crazy bread off is Snapchat, dude. Like some of the influencers I've been talking to, how much money they make on Snapchat is absurd. Some $30,000 a month, $50,000 a month, like something 10, 15,000 a day, and that's just Snapchat.
That's crazy. I just don't understand, because I've been hearing the same thing about TikTok, and it's like, how? Like how? Where does all this come in? Is it just based off of like clicks, or like, again, is it certain material that you want to put out there? It's like, how do they hit you up and say, hey, you're eligible to get paid too? Like,
yeah, there's all the like standards to be the I think it's I forgot what it's called on Snapchat. I think it's harder to make money on TikTok because there's just so many. But I mean, it's just based on views. Just based on views. How many people view your stories? And then when those stories go, oh, there's an ad. Okay, and then you're gonna get paid for that ad. Mm-hmm. People keep viewing the stories, and there's another ad. You're gonna get paid for that ad. So 15,000, 20,000, 100,000 people saw that ad. You're gonna get paid from that.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Yeah, I gotta step my game up, because that's the next step. Honestly, it's not even just to make a bunch of money off that side, because I'd like to get some income coming off that side too. But even if it just pays for itself, so that's,
well, dude. And then all these people like your content, and then when you do a merch drop, people want to buy that merch. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, who knows? I mean, you knock out 5 people in a row, all your stuff that you're doing right now is all gonna blow up. So you starting right now, I was happy to see you were doing that.
Heck yeah,
because you're good at it too, and you're a good character for it. I feel like.
Yeah, and that's why, because it took me a while to actually do it. My buddies busted me into it, but they're like, dude, this is you anyways. Yeah. Like, this is you. That's the character I am, And
you can tell when people try to do it and they're just trying to be a character. The internet can tell so easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I've been getting a lot of good feedback, so it's been keeping me kind of eager to keep doing it. Because, I mean, even when I'm in the kitchen cooking with my kids, that's me. Yeah. Like, I have so many videos. My wife has videos of me and just my kids teaching them how to cook tacos or teaching them how to cook macaroni and cheese and just being goofy in the kitchen, That's just who I am. So I just like to have fun and enjoy the moments that we get to have, because, man, this is like we could not be here,
Yeah, I mean, with your kids and stuff, I bet it's crazy having kids. It just does go by so quick, them growing up.
Yeah, it does. You don't realize it as much earlier on, but later on you start to realize it. Like, my oldest just started high school, and it's like, man, like, she's going to start driving, and she's about to start driving in a year and a half. She's ready to start driving. It's like, dang, I feels like I just had the conversation with her not that long ago. Like, hey, you're not going to be driving for a long time, and here we are. She's about to drive in a year and a half.
Are you gonna get her a little like Honda Civic or something?
That's what I was thinking about. But I also have a Escalade, a 2004 Escalade, and I kind of want to get that all decked out and turn that into my weekend warrior. And I want to make her start driving that. Not only can she help pick up her brothers and sisters, like, and have the responsibility of doing that as well, but it'll kind of veer her away from driving like a maniac.
It's a big safe rig.
Exactly. So she'll have to like get used to that. So I feel like I kind of want that too, just so it gives her something to get used to, something that she's not going to get in and be like, hey, my friends are with me, I'm going to hit the gas a little bit, be a little crazier, and then if anything was to happen, she's more safe. 'Cause that's what I think about. But I'm just like, that's what trips me out the most. I hear multiple different things about car accidents and stuff, and that's my biggest fear for them is them get behind the wheel of a car and be as dumb as we were when we were kids and be like, oh, I got my buddies with me, I'm gonna do 90 on the freaking highway and in and out of traffic, like it's like, man, that doesn't end well a lot of times. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, when it comes to being any more this day and age with all the YouTube, with all the Instagram, Snapchat stuff, it's like, man, just how important it is almost to become a character a little bit. If you're wanting your deals to be big, I mean, obviously the most important part, you got to win. You got to put on big performances. But then outside of the UFC, it's like, if you want to make any money, it's like you almost got to build a character. It's almost a smart way to do it.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I think we all have our character anyways. It's just like being able to determine what character you want the world to see you as too, and then running with it. Because a lot of these guys don't want the world to see that part of them. It's vulnerability as well. But just like you said, you have to, because fighting, even if, let's say I do knock out 5 more guys and get paid from all that, that will happen, and then that'll be over, right? And it's like, well, what am I going to do after that? Am I going to go back to a regular job? Is that what I'm going to do? You know, and where this job doesn't care because I don't have a college degree, you know? Oh, you have some college? Great. It's like, I'm not, this is a job that's still not going to be looking to get me. I'm not going to own the company. I'm not going to be one of the, you know, operational managers over. They're not going to respect me as that. It's like, what do I do then? You know, I still have a house payment. I still have vehicles. I still have all these different things. And I mean, hopefully by that time, those are all paid off, but then still, what do I do? My kids got college,
and,
you know?
And like, I like what Naval says, just having equity in different things. So literally when you're sleeping, you're making money.
Yep.
Like that's the way to do it. Okay. You find a job, good salary. It's like, sweet. You're still trading your time for money.
Mm-hmm.
But especially for you, after fighting, you have 100,000, 200,000 people on YouTube. Now it's like, that's my job, is creating.
Yeah.
Just being.
And doing it on my time too. Not necessarily having to give up, having to pay, not having to spend my time on somebody else's job, you know. Like I can do it on my time and still make money, especially like you said, while I'm asleep. And then for me as well, like my kids are going to be a little older. Like I want to be able to do things with them. I want to be able to help them get to their goals easier than I got to my goals, you know, whether that be go to the better college that they want to go to, or whether that be move to another state but chase the dream that they have, but it's going to cost them a little extra money. Like be able to financially support them, you know, and help them out. Not necessarily shoo them right out, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think first comes first with fighters, though. Like, you have to just be obviously obsessed with fighting and just get your skills so fucking... That's got to be the main focus. Because you could be the best character in the world, but you're 0-5. It doesn't fucking matter. No one cares.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's what you've done for 10 years is really hone your skills. Now you're still honing your skills, but becoming a character on top of it. It's like, perfect, I feel like.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one thing, even talking to like my team and management, everything, like they keep on pushing extra stuff out to me. I'm like, hey, we're maxed right now. Mm-hmm. Like it's cool, we're doing all the things we're doing right now, but my focus is fighting. My focus is being the best fighter that I can be still. And we're going to do these extra things because those things aren't really taken away from me in my fight career. The moment they start taking away from my fight career, I have to pull back, you know, until my fight career is over. You know, because it is going to be over one day. Mm-hmm. And again, I keep saying, hopefully not until I'm like Jared's age. I want to be 40 and still on the top of I want to be 40 in top 5, you know. And that's what I hope that happens. But at the end of the day, you know, it will be over. And when it's all said and done, I want to make sure that I focused on training and fighting. And I turned and did what I said I wanted to do, figure out how badass I am.
Yeah. And realistically, I mean, on a Monday, if you train 90 minutes in the morning and then 90 minutes at night, you have time in between that to start doing your other stuff. I mean, I can't imagine really with kids. I'm sure it's a packed schedule. But still, if you're a pro fighter, I mean, you have time between your practices to build on something else.
Mm-hmm. And that's the time I use right now is mostly with everything is that time in between, you know. But then even just trying to get the rest that I need to get to, you know, making sure that I'm doing that, eating correctly, especially when it comes to closer to camp. When we're 8 weeks out from a fight, it's time to dial in, you know. I won't do as much of that extra stuff in between because it's time for me to make sure I'm getting my rest, I have the right practices, you know.
And yeah, because even just mentally, I mean, I think that's smart in the fight camps. Doing all this shit takes a toll mentally. If you're constantly just thinking about business deals, thinking about content, just thinking about that all day, then trying to go to practice, like your energy is going to be zapped just because you've been thinking so much.
Yeah. And I've been noticing that more because it's not something I had to deal with as much. You know, I was in the business world for a while, and it did zap my energy just being in there for somebody else. And now doing it for myself is even more energy zapping because now I'm trying to make sure I'm setting up things correctly for my benefit, for my family's benefit. And yeah, sometimes I come into practice and not even feel like I'm tired, but just kind of be like mentally a little bit drained, not focused, you know, because all these things doing, I'm looking at this money, I'm thinking about, did I make the right percentage deal on this? Should I look for this? What should I be doing? Am I making the right decisions here, you know, opposed to just coming into practice and being ready to train and get better and focused on what drills we're working on or what techniques we're learning, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, all right, boys, we're about at an hour now. I'm gonna grab a little bite to eat. I got some guys coming in for a little striking session here, and then I got training tonight. What do you got going on today? You got sparring?
Yep, sparring, and then I got another business meeting. Go figure. I have a business meeting at 12 right now. Talk about a couple different things, and then then sparring at 3, and then get my hair braided up tonight, and then that's about it.
That's it. All right, guys, give Marcus a follow. Follow his career. Exciting fighter. Marcus is the man. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week. Love y'all. Bye-bye.